John, how are you?
Excited.
Good. Can you share what the conversation was like when you called Drew Doughty to tell him that he was, in fact, going to be part of this team? And I know you had ongoing conversations, but maybe share what that was like, because I think it was pretty emotional for Drew.
It was. Basically, he's the only guy I did tell that made the team. So management made calls to everybody, and it was the irony of the whole thing was we just played Detroit, and we were on the bus going through the security check, and it was snowing outside, and so I talked to Drew while I got security checked, and then it was snowing outside on the walk to the plane, and but it was that was somebody that you would never have known that he's the age he is and the experience he's had with the Team Canada's. He accepted it like, he'd won the lottery, and you want that, and you still want that passion, and not somebody that's sitting or saying been there, done that. And he was definitely not like that. And then when we talked about it, we talked about potential roles and where he fits in the group. And basically he was like, you don't need to do that. You just tell me where and when, and if it's never, then so be it. But he was great. That's what's so great about the group is they all are, it's a lot of passion about being here.
Right side, fourth row.
Josh Glimmer, the Canadian Press. John, we've asked a lot of the players about what it's like to walk into that locker room with all the talent. What's it like for the coach, and what will the message be tonight?
Well, in the end, as a coach, so much preparation has got into this, and it's just, I can't believe it's here now, because it seems like it's taken forever to get to this international event. But I think your job as a coach is not to get in the way. Put the players in the best position to succeed, give them the information that's needed, but don't get in their way, and don't cloud the mind of the best players in the world. And that's it. And then, when decisions have to be made, be assertive and do it. And but you really ultimately got to let the guys play. And as for walking in the locker room, it's kind of been the best part of everything is just sitting around, and whatever 3 or 4 guys are sitting in there and kind of hot stoving it with them, and you leave, and then there's another group, and it's been a ton of fun. But they all are really focused and have a common goal, and that's to win tonight. And like I said, for me, not to get in the way.
Left side, third row.
John, obviously these guys just came together as a team a couple days ago. What's your expectation for what this game, how this game starts tonight in terms of pace and whatnot? Do you expect it to be a little bit of feeling out, or do you expect it breakneck right off the hop here?
Hard to say. I think because this is an entirely an NHL event, so all the players know each other. And yesterday's a picture day, and everybody, teams are walking through the same hallways together, and everybody's stopping each other, and everybody's chatting, and there's not that, how do I say that? There's a lot of, not all-star game feel, but it's everybody's saying everything, talking to each other. I will sit here and say behind closed doors, I don't think that's what's going on. And I fully expect it to be as competitive as any international tournament. The difference is that we're all like together right now. Teams are sharing hotels, and so you're running into different, situations like that. But I think it's exactly how the bubble was. Like everybody was together, everybody was having fun and conversing and doing these things. But when those games started, it was a war, and the only thing that was crazy was there was no fans. And after one period, you never noticed it anyway because of the competitive on the ice. And I think this will be the same way.
Left side, third row.
Hey, John, when it comes to your line deployments in a tournament this short, do you expect to be kind of experimental and fluid, getting a feel for who works well together, or can you kind of make yourself crazy doing that, and do you have to sort of seek stability and hope you keep your guys together the way they are now?
I hope not. I hope we got it right, and that's it. You don't have to change. But I anticipate that probably won't be the case. Even your own NHL teams, sometimes you change lines just because the momentum of the game needs to be swung, or you feel something in your guts telling you to do this. But in a short term, and you also have to give them some leash to, you can't cut them off the knees in 2 shifts in. So there's going to be a balance here to see how the game's going, and but we like the group we have assembled. We like the lines put together, and the players seem to like the lines. So that's half the battle there.
Right side, fourth row.
Yeah, hi, John. For many years, goaltending was stellar. I mean, you had Patrick, you had Martin Brodeur, and Luongo and Carey Price recently. And now it seems most experts would say that this is not what it used to be as far as goaltending for this team. How do you feel about that? Do you feel you can still win with the guys that you have?
So we get asked questions about forwards, defense, goaltending. Everybody plays their positions, and ultimately it's a team sport. That's it. And when a goal's scored, for the most part, it's usually not the goalie's fault. But he always gets the rap because he's the last one that sees it, and he's the one that has to dig it out of the net when it's in there. But usually there's been a progression of a blown back check or a missed hit or some system breakdown all the way to the end. And the goaltender, for 65 shot attempts and 30 shots out of a game, has to make the save. And so I don't get into like, oh, well, if somebody thinks this goaltender's not, I'd look at the guys and say, well, that guy's won a cup and that guy's won a cup. And I look over somewhere else and I say, well, he hasn't won a cup and he hasn't won a cup. And you put guys in big time situations, and it's how they perform. And, on our team, we feel all the way through our lineup, we have a whole bunch of guys that have performed in pressure situations. But this is a team sport, man. And I think you win as a team and you lose as a team. And I feel we are solid in every single position. Like I sleep well at night, going to bed thinking I've got that team to stand behind the bench with. So I'm excited about it.
Stay in that same row.
Hey, John. Curious your earliest impressions of Travis Konechny. I think you worked with him in 2017, and maybe how he's grown and developed since then.
Funny you ask. We talked about that. So if you know Travis, he's a character, and but he also has character, and he's a great kid to be around. And I think some of the benefits for me was being around that under 23 team in 2016 and then coaching Worlds in 2017. So I've been inundated with a lot of these kids. I knew them. So we got around talking about that, and I was like shocked. You're married, kids, a house, family, and all these things that, when I met them, they were just, young, fighting their way into the league, trying to make a name for themselves. And I don't know, maybe it's a sign of my age, but it's been interesting to have the evolution of conversations of, where they live. And he'll say, well, the single guys are living, here in Philadelphia. Guys like myself, older, married, we're living in Jersey. And it was funny to hear him say he was one of those guys, but it's just the way it's been. It's great.
We'll take 2 more, and then player availability is going to start the pods. Left side, second row.
John, you chatted earlier about not clouding your players' mind, but you're also teaching them a system here in a couple of days. How do you go about trying to give them as much information as possible without overwhelming them? I mean, I know they're the best players in the world, so they're used to it, but it's still new for a lot of them.
It is, and it basically we're sitting here, we were talking as coaches, is that we're having our 2-week training camp's been put into 2 days. I think simple's better. It's just, it can be different because even Butchie plays a different system. Vegas plays different than Tampa. Tampa plays a little closer to Dallas, but still different. And so it's the same thing for the players. But ultimately, everybody, I feel like we made it as conducive as possible for the players to comprehend. Big things are, what happens on face-offs. Well, those are set pieces. All right. So then you got to learn that. But what happens, in certain situations? Well, we give it to them. But in the end, the message is, you're hockey players. You're the best in the world. We will put you in situations to succeed, and where you'll have your outs or whatever it is. But in the end, you go with your gut, make your instinct, and everybody else will adapt out of that. And that's why I don't want to take the hockey player out of the guys. Go be yourself, and if something needs to be tweaked, we'll do it.